in Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
Good morning, Facebook. What's going on? Yeah, we're going to use this filter again. We're going to use these filters probably every time. That way when they I'm going to take these videos later on and put them on TV and stuff, I'm going to ruin their commercials for them. So anyway, word on the street is, as of now, they're trying to paint the picture that Stephen is unhinged. Episode 1 of Illinois as Illinois Burns apparently was a big hit. Seeing me go off and go unhinged, as they say, they try to paint the picture that Stephen's off his rocker. He's crazy. He's mentally ill. He's unstable. Well, why is it that when somebody speaks truth to power, they're unstable? But those who lie are the ones that take power. Why? Well, it's all about this introduction here that I use every week. The reason that I play this for you guys every week is because it is our right and it is our duty to throw off, to restore. We, as a people, have a right, but a duty to throw off those political bands that bind us. So, that being said, our duty, we have, like I said, I'm not going to use any charge words because, you know, they might say I'm unhinged. Alright, so we won't go there. Okay? But to throw off the political bands that binds us, we have two options. Option 2, I won't speak about because they'll say I'm crazy. Has something to do with the revolution. Something like that. But option 1, vote them out. Vote them all out. Stop voting down party lines. Stop thinking that we are divided by race, by sex, by political affiliation. It's the division game. They want us to stay divided as a people because the longer we stay divided as a people, the longer they stay in power. And when I say in power, that means they're sitting there claiming that they know what is in our best interest. Okay? They sit over here in the state capitol. They're over there in session right now. Session started at 10 a.m. in the House this morning. Okay? They're sitting over there and they're making decisions for your life. They're making rules and regulations that affect your life. They are claiming that they know what is in your best interest. True that. So, we have to get involved in the political process. We not only have to get involved in the political process as far as voting and researching our candidates, but what we have to do is we have to get involved in the political process, and we have to stop letting them paint the picture of what a candidate is supposed to look like. We have to stop letting them paint the picture that says Stephen Westerfield is unhinged because he gets loud and crazy and he says charge words in his videos. I hope we don't scare anybody with our charge words today. They might say that I'm unhinged tomorrow. Yeah, I'm using this filter now so that when they take these videos and they try to put them on TV later on to paint me as unhinged, that I'll look nice and spiffy for their commercials they put on TV there. It'll be real nice for them. Anyhow, so this morning I've got a topic for you guys. We're going to talk about due process. Simple topic. Simple topic. We all know what due process is. I mean, we all think we know what due process is. But the thing about it is, while we sit here, okay, I led you into them making decisions for us over there in the Capitol today, claiming that they know what's in our best interest, the picture of the type of candidate, what a candidate's supposed to look like, prissy and pretty and clean. They're supposed to be lawyers, and their ties tied tight. Make sure that top button's nice and snug. Make sure that shirt fits just right. Make sure you go to the tailor. Make sure that when you reach up, it doesn't go too far back, but when you put your arm down, it's not too baggy. You know? So we've let them paint a picture of what our candidates are supposed to look like, and saying that, hey, these are the guys that are educated. These guys went to college. These guys are lawyers. These guys are attorneys. These guys should be making the law. They deal with the law every day. Statements from our own Republican leader, Jim Durkin, who, again, Jim, step down. Your time is up. 20 years in office has been way too long. You want to talk about term limits, but you want to sit in office for 20 years? Hypocrite! Yep, hypocrite. Uh-oh, there's one of those charge words again. They're going to say that Stephen's unhinged. Maybe we should name their new show to Illinois Unhinged. We'll see. We'll talk about that later. Anyhow, so we allow them to paint the pictures of what our candidates are supposed to be, what our candidates are supposed to look like. We noticed this with the Donald Trump campaign. They said, oh, he's not presidential. He's not presidential. He's not presidential. Okay? He needs to be more presidential. He's not fit to hold office. This is a respectable office. Blah, 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 blah. Our candidates have to look like this, and they have to speak like this, and they have to be shaped like this. Because only they know what is in our best interest. But they themselves have not even lived the life that you've lived. They have no idea what it's like. So you've got people that have grown up with a silver spoon in their mouth. Mommy and daddy paid their way to law school, or maybe they went in debt. Who knows? But they made it back in the family courtroom pretty quickly. You've got people sitting here writing these laws that they claim is in our best interest. And they know what they're doing because they're so much smarter than we are. Well, that brings me to my next point. What does due process have to do with this? What does the people that we're electing to sit in there and represent us? Well, the perfect pretty boy image that we've been electing and we've been putting in office, it's sitting over there in the Capitol right now. I'm about to show you what they're doing. And this bill that we're about to analyze, this thing, look, this bill that we're about to analyze, this thing passed the House with 2 no votes. And it passed the Senate unanimously. Okay, and we're about to get into the atrocities of this bill and the overwhelming thought that these people all voted yes for this bill and never once questioned the idea of due process, never once thought about the idea of due process. Let's talk about this for a second. Okay. House Bill 2812, an act concerning public aid. Be it enacted by the people of the state of Illinois, represented in the General Assembly. Section 5, the Illinois Public Aid Code, is amended by changing Section 10-3.3 as follows. Upon request by the Child and Spouse Support Unit, remember that, the Child and Spouse Support Unit, okay? Upon request by the Child and Spouse Support Unit, employers, labor unions, cellular telephone companies, and telephone companies shall provide location information concerning putative fathers and non-custodial parents for the purpose of establishing a child's paternity or establishing, enforcing, or modifying a child support obligation, period. Okay, that's the end. Period. That's the end of that section. Well, that's the end of that paragraph of that section. This is another thing when we're talking about legislation, you really got to pay attention to where your commas and your periods are, because it can change the whole thing. You got to watch words like shall and may, because they can change a shall to may, and it changes the whole dynamic of the bill. Okay, so we're going to read this one more time. Upon request by the Child and Spouse Unit, employers, labor's unions, cellular telephone companies, and telephone companies shall provide location information. So location information. These guys should have to give up. So who is it? Employers, labor unions, cellular telephone companies, and telephone companies shall provide location information concerning putative fathers and non-custodial parents for the purpose of establishing a paternity or establishing, enforcing, or modifying a support obligation. Okay, so what we're saying here is upon request by the Child and Spouse Unit, support unit, not a judge, not a judge order to invade your privacy. Okay, it's not a judge's order. It's a request by the Child and Spouse Unit, an agency, a bureaucracy. All right? So, they are, upon request by the Child Support and Spouse Unit, your employer, your labor union, or your telephone company shall provide your location information. Okay? I'm sorry to be repetitive here. I just want to make sure you guys are following along and this is sinking in real quick. Okay? In this section, location information means information, the physical whereabouts, including but not limited to the home address, telephone number, cellular telephone number, and email address of a putative father or non-custodial parent. Right, Justin, they do. They point out fathers, but they don't. Okay, let's look at what a punitive father is. A punitive father is any male, that could possibly be the father of this child. Okay? So, who? The Child and Spouse Support Unit gets a request saying, hey, this guy might be my baby's daddy. Okay? He might be. We don't know if he is. There's a possibility. Okay? So, upon request of the Child, Spouse, and Support Unit, DHS, all those guys, Child Support Enforcement, you see what I'm saying? These guys, they put in a request. And your employer, your labor union, your cellular telephone company, and your telephone company shall provide your location information. So they, upon request from this unit, there's no court order. Do you guys see where I'm going with this thing? Without a court order from a judge, these guys are allowed to get they shall get your location information. Without a court order. It's really hard for me to understand how anyone can read this and not instantly have alarms going off in their head that, wait a minute, this is an invasion of privacy, right? The Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure. There's no due process here. You've not been taken to a court. There's not been a court order. There's not been evidence submitted. There's not been a hearing. They can invade your privacy because you could possibly be a father to this child. Or if they want to come to get child support or modify a child support obligation. They don't need an order from a judge. They just call up these agencies and say, hey, we need this information. Okay? So what happens to these agencies if they don't give up that information? Let's check that out. The punitive father or non-custodial parent's employer, the salary, wages, or other compensation paid, and the health insurance coverage provided to the punitive father or non-custodial parent by the employer of the putative father or non-custodial parent or by a labor union, which the punitive father or non-custodial parent is a member. As used in this section, cellular telephone company includes, and pay attention to this part too, because this part is hilarious. Okay? As used in this section, a cellular telephone company includes a cellular telephone or wireless carrier or provider, but does not include a prepaid wireless carrier or provider. As used in this section, physical whereabouts does not include real-time or historical location tracking information. Okay, so they did specify over in the Senate, they did clean it up a little bit, that they can't give you a real-time location on you, but they can still get your home address, they can still get all your records from these people. This is still an invasion of your guys' privacy. Okay? And this is something that they sat here and they passed unanimously through the Senate and damn near unanimously through the House. Like I said, it only had 2 no votes when it passed the House. I mean, that means we had 116 people vote. Well, there might have been some not votings and some absence or something, but roughly, let's say 100. Okay, let's see. 100 people sitting in our current General Assembly voted yes for a bureau to contact your phone provider, your employer, all these other institutions here that it names to get information on you. Your personal information, your private information. Again, I will refer you to the Fourth Amendment. We got to get woke, guys. We got to get woke. We got to get woke up. This is why I'm doing this. Okay, so an employer, a labor union, a cellular telephone company, or telephone company shall respond to the request of the Child and Spouse Support Unit within 15 days after receiving the request. Any employer, labor union, cellular telephone company, or telephone company that willfully fails to fully respond within the 15-day period shall be subject to a penalty of $100 for each day that the response is not provided to the Illinois Department after the 15-day period has expired. The penalty may be collected in a civil action which may be brought against the employer, labor union, cellular telephone company, or telephone company in favor of the Illinois Department. Okay, so if they don't give up this information, they're subject to fines and penalties. Okay, and then here. So upon being served with an administrative, here it is, okay. So upon being served with an administrative subpoena as authorized under this code, a utility company or cable television company must provide location information to the child and spouse unit for purposes of establishing child's paternity or establishing, enforcing, or modifying a child support obligation, notwithstanding the provisions of any other state or local law to the contrary. An employer, labor union, telephone company, utility company, or cable television company shall not be liable to any person for disclosure of location information under requirements of this section except for willful and wanton misconduct. Okay, so not only did they allow them to get your personal information without a court order, they also are going to fine them $100 a day for every day that they do not comply with the request, okay? And then they made it, notwithstanding the provisions of any other state or local law to the contrary, an employer, labor union, cellular telephone company, utility company, or cable television company shall not be liable to any person for disclosure of their location information. So, they said, we're going to do this without a court order, so we're going to violate your due process rights to invade your privacy, because under the Fourth, they need a warrant. They need a warrant to come after your personal property, personal, private information. Okay? But now they don't in this law. And not only do they get to do that, you don't get to do anything about it. You can't sue them. You can't do anything because here it is written that they can't be held liable. Okay, so there's I gotta find the Senate amendment. We're going to find, oh no, here we go. We'll find where it went into public act. Because over in the Senate, they changed something around, okay? Okay, so as used in this section, cellular telephone company includes a cellular telephone or wireless, pay attention, includes a cellular telephone or wireless carrier or provider, but does not include a prepaid wireless carrier or provider. Okay, one more time, we'll read through that one more time. As used in this section, cellular telephone company includes a cellular telephone or wireless carrier or provider, but does not include a prepaid wireless carrier or provider. Okay, so what they effectively did, okay, so let me start here, I guess. Okay, we have in this, we have 4 carriers in the United States. 4. We have 4 cellular telephone carriers. AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile. Okay, 4. 4 providers. So we have, as used in this section, cellular telephone company includes a cellular telephone wireless carrier or provider. Remember, we've got 4 carriers. Underneath of those 4 carriers, you have all kinds. You have Cricket, Straight Talk, Net 10, just that goes on and on and on and on and on and on. There's tons of them out there. Boost, whatever's out there. Those are all providers underneath these carriers. So all of those providers that I'm talking about, Boost, Cricket, all that, they go through one of these carriers, okay? So there's 4 carriers, but does not include a prepaid wireless carrier or provider. Okay, so we know all of our providers, right? Boost and all those guys. We know that they all are prepaid providers, right? Well, what about our carriers? What about our cell phone carriers? Does AT&T offer prepaid services? What about Verizon? What about Sprint? What about T-Mobile? They all, 4, are also prepaid carriers. Therefore, this law that they sat over here in the Capitol and they debated and they sent through committees and they had subject matter on and they talked about and they spent our tax dollars writing, not only does it violate our due process rights, but it also can't even be used. They can't even be used because a wireless carrier or provider, but does not include a prepaid wireless carrier or provider. All 4 of our carriers in the United States are prepaid carriers. All the providers are prepaid providers. What they should have done to make this bill right was talk about a prepaid plan. But we have people sitting in our General Assembly, or maybe even staffers that are writing these bills, they have no idea what the hell they're even doing. So, here they go. They show their incompetence in this bill for the Constitution. And then they just show their incompetence for general knowledge in general. They wrote a bill that, in this section that they added over in the Senate, it includes a wireless carrier and provider, but does not include a prepaid wireless carrier and provider. One sentence, they completely excluded it. If AT&T and these 4 groups are smart, okay, if these 4 telephone companies are smart, they will give up that information. Or they will not give up the information. They will say, we don't have to, under that law. But they're going to give up your information because they scared them with a $100 a day penalty if they don't comply. And then they put down here, we said, but don't worry, nobody will be able to sue you. Nobody will be able to sue you for invasion of privacy down here because we're going to put that clause in there for you. Your rights were violated, your due process rights were violated, and it passed unanimously. And these are the people that we are electing to represent us. It's got to stop. It's got to stop, and the only way it stops is for us to get up and change it. So let me talk about this real quick. Running for state office, running for any office, Article 6 under the Constitution, there's nothing in there that says that a felon can't run for office. Stephen, it is House Bill 2812, was chief sponsored by Noreen Hammond, the Republican assistant leader. Now, I'm not going to say too much bad about Noreen because she is a sponsor on House Bill 4113, and I am forever grateful for that. So thank you, Noreen. But this bill that you sponsored, you really should have got more educated on because this thing is a train wreck. This is a clear violation of our due process rights. And not only that, the bill's not even enforceable. whoever wrote this, whoever the staffers were that looked over this, wrote your guys' analyses, they should all be fired. You should fire them all right now. Yeah, I don't have a college degree. I dropped out of high school. Okay? I'm unhinged, as they say. I'm off my rocker. I'm mentally ill. Well, if they're claiming all these claims about me, then what the hell does that say about them when they can't even recognize a due process right violation in a bill, and also they can't even recognize, they're not even smart enough to comprehend that the bill contradicts itself and cancels itself out, all in one sentence. These are the people that are leading this, you guys. You wonder why Illinois is burning? You wonder why? This is why. This is the kind of crap, I won't say S-H-I-T. I might get chastised. I might be unhinged. This is the crap. This is the kind of crap that they're passing. This is the kind of crap that's going on over there in that building. This is the kind of crap we're paying them to put into office. To put into law. But yet we keep electing the same type of people. We keep letting the party choose our people for us. We keep letting the party choose our candidates. And because of what Rosemarie Long and Andy Goldman and everybody else over there at the Sangamon County Republican Central Committee says is best, are you going to let 20 people decide what's in your best interest? Are you going to decide, let 20 people decide and say Mike Murphy is the man for the job? Mike Murphy is the man to represent you? When Mike Murphy doesn't even have the gall to stand up and say who he supports for governor of Illinois. He doesn't have the gall to stand up and say which way he would vote on abortion bills. He doesn't have the gall to stand up and say which way he would have voted on a 32% tax increase. He doesn't have the gall to say it. Because he wants to be able to flip-flop back and forth to whoever the highest bidder is. That's who he'll change his answer to. Whoever drops the most money into his bank account, that's where his loyalty lies. Look, I don't want endorsements. They're endorsed by the party. He's endorsed by the Farm Bureau. He's endorsed by this PAC. He's endorsed by that PAC. I don't want their endorsements. I don't want endorsements from special interests. The only endorsements that I want is from you, the people of Illinois, the residents of Illinois, the ones who due process rights are being violated. The ones whose constitutional rights are being trampled on by those that we elect to serve us. You are the only endorsement I need, you guys. You guys are the only reason I'm doing this. I could go right back over here in my living room. I could sit on my couch. I could fill up my cup of coffee. I could click back with the remote, kick my feet up, and chill. I don't need to do this. I don't need to stand up and run for state representative. I'm not looking for endorsements. I'm not looking for campaign contributions. What I'm looking for is the incompetent leaders that we put in place to write these incompetent laws that clearly violate our due process out. The only way to do that is to stand up. The only way to do that is to stand up and challenge all of you guys to stand up with me. Look, I don't care if you got felonies on your record. You are eligible. Article 6 of the Illinois Constitution. You are eligible. If you are 21 years of age and you have lived in your district for which you are seeking office for 2 years, you are eligible. It's time to stand up and be the change you want to see. Quit letting them throw your past in your face. Stand up proud and say, you know what? Yeah, I've got a checkered past, but my past doesn't define me. My past doesn't dictate my future. My past is my past. Here I am today. If this was me 13 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here on Facebook Live talking to you guys about due process. I would be out somewhere sitting in an alley with a 40 ounce in my hand and not had taken a shower for 6 months. Probably a needle hanging out of my arm, just like what's going on in our streets today. But nobody wants to confront that idea. Yeah, tired of being taxed to death? Me too, Robin McCoy. And Mr. Mike Murphy, my opponent, who I've now challenged to a debate 3 different times. I've emailed. I'm getting ready to send him a text message on the cell phone. That's my next option. I got his number. I'm going to send him a text. I've emailed him. I've posted on his Facebook. I've messaged his Facebook. He's not responding. He wants to act like they don't even exist. But let me tell you something. That picture that I keep putting up on my page of him and Sarah Jimenez standing there together, arms all around each other. It was no miraculous thing that happened that Mike Murphy got chosen, that got the endorsement. Mike Murphy was never standing in line for that House seat. Oh yeah, and let me tell you about the imaginary line you got to stand in. You got to go over here and you got to put in 25 years of slave labor for the Republican Party for them to still say, oh, it's not your turn, Kent Gray. We got Governor Bruce Rauner over here snapping his fingers, saying, we want Jimenez, we want Jimenez. Puts Jimenez in. Republican Party, Rosemarie Long, she says she stands for principles and morals and values. What'd she do? She said, yes, Massa. Yes, Massa Bruce. Give me some of that Madigan retirement fund. Stick $5,000 in our Central Committee. Stick $5,000 in our Central Committee and you'll have my forever loyalty. It's no coincidence that Mike Murphy wasn't standing in their imaginary line that they got over there and was just picked out of nowhere. I know where he came from, Andy. I know you're going to be the next county chair, Andy. Andy Goldman, I know. You guys are going to try to get Rosemarie Long out of there. You're going to step up. You're going to say, we're a changed group. We're a changed Central Committee. We've changed. We've got away of the old dictatorship policies. We don't swing from the dollar bills. We don't sway whichever way's got the most money. Because you know what? I've never had money in my entire life. I don't care about money. Story, because they say that I'm just off unhinged. I don't talk about my personal life because it's nobody's business. My personal life is my personal life, and if I put my personal life out there, that's consenting to government interfering into my personal life, and I don't consent, and neither should you. Stay out of our homes, stay out of our lives, stay out of our bedrooms, most importantly, stay out of our families. Anyhow, my wife, now I forgot even where I was going with that story. Oh, yeah, now I know. We were talking about money and how I don't care about money. I've never had money in my life, you guys. When me and my wife first got together, okay, I had $20 in my pocket. It's all the money I had to my name. And, no, there's not much money left, Robin. And that's the problem, man, because they're all getting rich, dude. $68,000 a year base pay. They get a $1,000 stipend committee. If they chair the committee, they get a $10,000 stipend. Jim Durkin and Mike Madigan make extra $27,000 a year for being the leaders. It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. And you know what? And they get a full ride. They get a full pension. They get full health care. And you know what they pay into their system? They pay in 3%. 3%. And the rest of it we pay for them to sit around and write piece of crap legislation like this one. Anyhow, okay, so back to my story. Back when me and my wife were dating, I got paid. I lived with my buddy Rob Coleman. Slept in a little tiny room. It was about the size of a closet. Had a little bitty tiny twin bed in there. Well, me and my wife, we were dating, you know, we'd hang out often. And I got paid rent, all that good stuff. I had $20 left in my pocket. And we went to McDonald's. I said, I want to go to McDonald's. I'm hungry. So I drive through McDonald's drive-thru. And I order a 20-piece nugget. And they're like, oh, well, you know, they're not on sale anymore, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it was. I ended up paying, because they weren't on sale that day, I ended up paying like $12 or something like that for a 20-piece nugget when I only had $20 to my name. Because I'm not from money, you guys. I don't come from money. Money is not important to me. Now, I understand. It takes money to get your name out there. It takes money to get out there and put signs all over the place. It takes money to run smash ads on TV. I get it. It takes money. But it shouldn't. It shouldn't, and I guarantee you that if my name was on the ballot, if my name was printed on the ballot this time, I guarantee you that I could prove to you guys that it doesn't take money. All it takes, hard work, dedication, passion, conviction, truth, and honesty with your constituents. Truth and honesty with your constituents. So anyway, I order these nuggets. We get through the drive-up window, and we're pulling away, and my wife, she starts, well, girlfriend at the time, but wife today, and I love her to death, man. She's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. But she goes and she's like, I can't believe you just spent $12 on a 20-piece chicken McNugget. She's like, this is why you'll never be able to control the money, Stephen. And that's why, that's why I don't control the money. That's why I let her control the money. Money comes and goes. Money's earned, money's spent. Means nothing to me, you guys. I'm not beholden to money. They can come to me and say, oh, we'll make a $50,000 donation to your campaign. Well, you know what? I don't want your $50,000 donation to my campaign because I don't want to win this campaign if it's not by the will of the people. Because the people are the only ones that matter. I don't care about the Sangamon County Republican Central Committee and their endorsements and waiting in line and waiting my turn because I don't agree with it. I don't agree that there's a line that you wait in and one candidate steps up at a time in a primary election. One candidate. You walk in and you got one candidate on your name. Where's your choice? Our primary elections are for the people to elect their voice. And then the party's job is to get behind them and move to November. And until this practice ends, it is my mission to continue the precinct project, to take over the precincts, and to eject the puppet masters and the kingsmakers and their puppets. Because it's not enough just to vote out their puppets, you guys. We vote out their puppets, they just rise up another one. They bring their millions of dollars. They call Big Daddy Bruce and his money, and he pulls his strings, and the little puppets dance whichever way they need to go. So the bill that we spoke about earlier is House Bill 2812. Go to ilga.gov. Type in the left-hand corner search bar for keywords. Bill number. Type in HB2812. Illinois is going to be bankrupt, so we need a businessman like Trump to run Illinois. Robin McCoy, I totally agree, and you know what? The funny part about that is what bitch-ass Bruce Rauner, oh, did I say that? Flip-flop Bruce. Flip-flop Bruce, that's what he campaigned on. He campaigned on, I'm a businessman, and I know how to fix Illinois. I'll come in, and we can shake up Springfield. That's what he campaigned on. You know what he came in and he did? And you know what? I fell for it. I didn't vote for Bruce Rauner. I voted for Tracy and Dillard in the primaries. I voted for Bruce Rauner in the general election, and I proudly got behind him. I bought into the hype. I believed that he really was going to come in and shake up Springfield, and he was going to try to bring back Illinois. All he did was come in and divide the state even further. He came in, he started a war on unions that wasn't necessary. He came in and he started a war with Mike Madigan that wasn't necessary. Look, chastising Mike Madigan in the public's eye isn't how you're going to beat Mike Madigan. It might be good for camera and it might be great for political theatrics. It's not how you're going to beat Mike Madigan. The only way to beat Mike Madigan is to win seats. And when you've got political puppets over here, kingsmakers, choosing political puppets and putting them on our ballots and saying this is who is best served to represent you. Let me ask you this. a lot of my viewers out here, you guys all know where I stand on fathers' rights. You guys all know where I stand pretty much on most of my values and principles. You guys know my background. You guys know where I come from. You guys know that I haven't lived the perfect life. You guys know that my parents were addicted to drugs. You know that I lived in the Habitat for Humanity, first Habitat for Humanity home in Sangamon County. You knew that when I got older and into my teen years, I got into drugs and alcohol. You know that it went in, and when I turned 21, by the time I was 22, I received a DUI. But go check out my record since. Go check out my record since, because it's all changed. I'm a different dude, man. And let's tell me, who doesn't got stupid shit in their background from when they were 22, 23 years old? Hell, our own sheriff here in Sangamon County, leaving the secretary's ball downtown at the Prairie Capital Convention Center, drives out on Neil Williamson, like the guy, respect the guy, drives out on Veterans Parkway, hits a telephone pole out on Veterans Parkway, knocks the telephone pole over, leaves the scene of the accident and goes home. Nothing happened. No DUI, nothing. Nothing happened. He retained his share of shit. So see, that's how somebody that's juiced in with the political elites can get away with it. But we can't. They call it white privilege. No, it's class privilege. It's not white privilege, it's class privilege. Yeah, me too, Robin McCoy. I am a model child. Check me out with my shades, man, my fedora. I'm drinking out of my my coffee mug that my daughter got me. The United States Department of Dad. She's I tell you what, she's my political trooper, man. She's my baby girl. She it was fun during the Trump campaign because she voted for Hillary. She liked Hillary because Hillary was a girl and she wanted to see a first girl president. And I'm an avid Trumper, you know what I mean? And so, but I didn't sit here and tell my daughter that, you know, I didn't tell my daughter that, oh, Hillary's evil and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I said, that's great, honey. And you know what I did? I called up the Hillary Clinton campaign and I had them deliver a sign to my front porch. And when my daughter got home from school and she opened up the screen door to walk in the house, out fell a Hillary Clinton sign to her. You know? That's her choice. That's what she wants to be, alright? All I can do is lead by example. So it was fun. So me and my daughter had, you know, we had a rivalry in the house. We had a rivalry in the house, and she followed the polls with me, and she would sit down and she would be like, well, Dad, it looks like we're going to beat you. We're leading in the polls. And I mean, she's 6 years old. Talking about we're leading in the polls. We got you, you know. I mean, we're beating you in Florida. Dad, you have no path to victory. You know, and I just kept telling her, I'm like, yeah, you think so, little girl? Just wait. We'll see on Election Day. Election Day is right around the corner, baby girl. And, you know, it was fun. It was great. And then, you know, I bought her the Dr. Seuss book. Well, I actually put it on my own Christmas list and gave it to her. One vote, two vote, I vote, you vote. You know, and so the other day, she's sitting here and she's asking me about Jeannie Ives. You know, because I've got, yeah, I have, it's funny because I have all my political books on my bookshelf, and then with all my books, my political books on the bookshelf, I have Dr. Seuss's One Vote, Two Vote, I Vote, You Vote. Yes, yes, I do. Oh, and I also have in there, I have a hardback copy of Jimmy Kimmel's book, Winners Aren't Losers by Donald Trump. I got one of those in my collection too for you, just so you know. But anyway, so, you know, now I'm working with, I'm volunteering to get the word out for Jeannie Ives down here. So now, my daughter, we're talking, you know, and it's funny because she's like, well, she could be the first woman governor of Illinois. I'm like, yeah, she could be. And she's like, Dad, we're on the same team this time. It was pretty good. And I was like, I know, now we're unstoppable, babe, you know. Together in the world, nothing can stop us. So she bought me a shirt last year for Father's Day that said "Dad for President," and then she bought me this this cup here that says the United States Department of Dad with the presidential seal. So this is my new cup. I kept it on the shelf for a while. I wasn't going to use it, but man, I decided I'm going to use this thing, and that's it. It's the only cup I'm going to use. So, you know, and it's cute too, and she'll get out there, and we wait for the bus every morning, and she'll see my campaign signs up, and she'll be like, "Why is your name out there on a sign?" And I said, "Well, I'm running for office." And she's like, "You're running for president?" I'm like, "No, not yet." But my kids, they both want me to run for president, man. What makes me think she'll be a good governor, Robin? Her, dude, she is one of the sharpest property tax reform minds I have ever seen in this state, dude. Like, I'm not even joking, bro. Like, her property tax proposals, she's got that system down. And trust me, I have studied property tax and the formulas and the way it works. And it's not, it's not easy to, you know, it's not an easy system to navigate. It's very confusing, and to put together a plan. And let me say this too. She's also got some great people on her team, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to put people out there on blast or whatever, but she's also got some great people around her too that are some of the best property tax minds in the state of Illinois. I guarantee you, if you took her task force, and you put that task force, I would put that task force against any property tax reform, property tax reform group or proposals in the state of Illinois, and I'd put my life savings on it any day. Second, man, what I really think another thing is, they can't cut the taxes. It funds too much of their pension. Well, and see, this is another thing, too, because we've got, and this is another, these are talking points that I've all stolen from Jeannie. I'm not going to lie, man. So Jeannie also, you know, elaborates on our, all these school districts that we have up in, Chicago, well, and even down south, too. We have a lot of, school districts that only have one school in it. But yet we still have superintendent, assistant superintendents, principals, you know, we still have full administration. But these school districts got one school and like 300 students. And these administrators are making, you know, $150,000, $200,000 a year, and we're paying lifetime pensions for them. You know, we can either do a couple things. We can consolidate them school districts down, or we can say, you know what, this school district is so small, they don't need a superintendent. They don't need an assistant superintendent. Andy, I should run for office. I know, right? I'm working on it, brother. I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. I'm getting better at the speaking thing too. But where those school districts? So if we reduced a lot of those school districts down, we could only have one administration staff that oversees that. That's cutting down on our pensions obligation. Might not be huge, but a lot. Or we look at it and say, why do we need this upper administration? If it's one school in a district, all they need is a principal, a vice principal. That's your administration, your principal, your vice principal, your teachers. I mean, that's your administration. You don't need higher up administration that are making these ginormous salaries. You don't need it. So that's one aspect. And then another aspect is the 43,000 elected officials that we have in this state. Well, and it could too, because, and here's why too, because like it ties into with the school funding formula. Okay, so if we've got all these extra pensions and all that kind of shit that up there that we've got to make pension payments to and stuff like that, we've got to, that's why they all kept calling it a pension bailout. That $350 million was what it was all over, being a Chicago bailout, okay? That's why they're calling it a Chicago bailout. So with the school funding formula, all that extra $350 million that went up north was because we have all these extra administrators and we have all that. Therefore, like for example, my district, District 186 here, District 186 lost $2 million out of our funding. District 186, we lost $2 million out of our funding that got shifted up to Chicago for some administrator in a school district, for some superintendent and assistant superintendent in a school district that has one school. So then what happens when we lose that money down here? Then our local units of governments, they got to raise their levies to make up for the tax money the school funding that we lost in the formula. So therefore, they've got to raise the levies, and that makes our property tax go higher. So that's how the Chicago part of it ties in. Also, we need to look at the assessment process. Because if we've got under-evaluation going on up here in certain areas, and we've got these certain areas where mostly Madigan, phony jobs are created all the time. But we got these tax districts up north in Chicago where Madigan is a tax appeals attorney. They're under-evaluating these buildings in downtown Chicago. These people are paying way, way, way less in property taxes in their area, so they're contributing way less to the schools. And they're contributing way less to all of it in general. Also, so you've got to reform. You've got to reform the assessment process. You've got to reform the appeals process. And it's funny now that Jeannie starts talking about all of her tax plans and everything, and now all of a sudden Madigan, Mikey, he wants to make it a rule that no sitting member of the General Assembly can be a practicing tax attorney. Well, how about this? How about we make it to where no sitting member of the General Assembly can be a practicing attorney, period? That's conflict of interest. If you're writing laws, of course, you're writing laws that benefit your own practice. You're putting in earmarks that give yourselves monetary gain. So, man, that's where it's at with the property tax, dude. That brings down the property tax. Now, here's what I don't understand about the corporate tax. We can talk about the corporate tax now. We jack our corporate tax up so high that these companies are fleeing the state of Illinois left and right. And then to bring new companies into Illinois, we have to give them tax breaks. We say, okay, we'll give you a 5-year tax exemption where you don't pay anything for 5 years. What in the hell is the point in that? So we get some jobs out of it. Okay, why not lower the business tax down to an attractive rate, a competitive rate, where we can bring the businesses back in based on our business tax alone, and then make them pay that taxes. Instead of jacking it up so high that they move out, and then we've got to say, we'll give you 5 years tax-free, 10 years tax-free. Ronner is trying so hard to get Amazon to come here, he's willing to tell them you don't have to pay anything. Your property taxes, your corporate, we'll get rid of all of it. We'll give you a waiver on all of it. Just come to Illinois so that I can say that I brought jobs. So that when it's election time, I can get out on TV and I can say, I brought Amazon to Illinois because I am great. I am the almighty Bruce Ronner and I did great. That's why you should vote for me, because we're shaking up Springfield and we're going to get rid of the unions and blah, 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 blah. And that's another thing. They don't want to differentiate public sector and private sector unions. They want to tie everybody all in the same bunch. It's another division tactic. We've got to talk about public sector unions. We have to. Yeah, I know, Robin. I know. And see, and here's another thing you guys need to know about Mike Murphy. while he doesn't support a right-to-work state, he has no problem with townships and local units of government making right-to-work zones. Okay, well then you know what you get when you get right-to-work zones in this local unit and this local and over here and over here? Guess what? After time, you have a right-to-work state. It's a candy-ass approach to get around it, and they think we're stupid. Before we ever talk about taking money away from the working class people, it's time we talk about taking money away from the elected officials. It's time we talk about reducing the 43,000 elected officials we have in the state of Illinois. 43,000 elected officials that we are paying full salaries, per diem, pensions, and health care for. If a local unit of government is in such bad shape that they need to go to right-to-work zone, then guess what? Their local unit of government needs to be absolved. It needs to be dissolved. It needs to go away. All those people need to be fired. It needs to get annexed into the ones that can't pay their bills, the ones that are underwater. Get them out. Close them down. Get rid of them. If you can't sustain yourself, then you shouldn't be there. If you're local unit, then you've got to look. That's about balancing a budget. The Berlin Wall is down as long it was up. Now Trump wants to build a wall taking money away from the poor. How is our wall going to take away from the poor? Their job can be outsourced, Robin, and not only can it be outsourced, it can be consolidated. All those jobs that are in local units of government, all that crap can be consolidated, dude, and we can run that out of one. We could probably take 7 units of local government and make it one. We could annex it down, man. If they're not responsible, they're not self-sustaining, they gotta go. Fire them all, get rid of them all, annex it into the one that's doing the best, and make that happen. Get rid of them. As far as, Andy, no, we're not going to talk about the wall. We're not going to talk about federal politics today. Why aren't we then? Because we've got incompetent local, elected officials, Robin. We've got incompetent elected officials that they'll talk about the problem. They'll put mailers out. They'll talk about the problem, but they won't do anything about the problems. Go research Jeannie Ives, Robin, on YouTube. Go look her up and watch some of her speaking on the floor, man. I think you'll dig it, dude. She pulls no punches, dude, and she says what she feels, she says what she means, and she means what she says, and she is on fire. And that's why I love her. I've been following Jeannie Ives since 2014, man. She speaks truth to power and does not care one inkling about it. And I love it. And it's probably her military background. Me, I don't have a military background. I just do it because I'm a jerk, I guess. I don't know. You say that the wall will not keep out anybody. You claim that, Andy, but it's absolutely going to keep out people. The wall's going to keep out people that are smuggling drugs across our border. You say, oh, they're going to build a tunnel, they're going to build a tunnel. Dude, look, with today's technology, with our seismic technology, if they even they could drive a truck, okay? They can drive a truck coming towards it. Oh, well, $15 billion is the cost. Oh, well, that's a drop in the bucket. Mexico's going to pay for it. How's Mexico going to pay for it? Tariffs, right? Any imported goods, we're going to charge them, okay? Any money wire transferred out of the United States into Mexico, it's getting taxed. It's getting hit. It's getting charged. Because you got to have the wall. Okay, listen, Andy. Or the ramparts we watched. What's a rampart? Give me a definition of a rampart. How long have we been using walls? Walls are proven to work. What's the Pope live behind, Andy? Should the Pope tear down his wall around Vatican City? I'm not getting desperate. Andy, you wanted to talk about it. Let's talk about it. What about give me one good reason why the Vatican City has a wall around it. I'm waiting. You can't, exactly. That's what I thought. So when the Pope, let's do this. Let's do this. When the Pope tears down the wall around Vatican City, I'll give up on the wall between the Mexico border. Oh, it was free? It was free. Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. You just said it's free. So, Andy, does that mean you support a wall as long as it's free? How many people do you know that have overdosed from heroin? I don't have anything against Catholics, Andy. What do you have against my wall? Why is your wall okay, but mine's not? Build that wall, Mr. Trump. Build that wall. Anyway, back to Illinois. Where were we, Robin? Yes, Andy, I am saying the wall will keep drugs out. The wall will absolutely keep drugs out. Drugs will still get in, but guess what? It's going to reduce by so much, dude, okay? So, we put up the wall, the opiates coming in here. Oh, most drugs don't come from Mexico. No, you're right. They don't come from Mexico, but they come through Mexico. We will never stop all the drugs from coming in. But you know what? The heroin that's coming in, guess where it's coming from? It's coming through the southern border, Andy. Look, Andy, listen. When I say that I grew up in a crack house, I mean that. Okay? My uncle, when I was just a young kid, his house got raided. He got busted with 365 pounds of marijuana that they were trafficking. Don't tell me about where the drugs are coming from. I know where the drugs are coming from. I grew up it. I lived it. How many people do you know personally in your inner circles, Andy, that have OD'd off of heroin? My little sister just OD'd off of heroin 2 months back. Thank God she's alive. But her life is now in shambles. And the next time, she's not going to be so lucky. Yeah, well, none. Well, maybe when you know one, and especially young people, 21 years old, 23 years old, people that you just talked to 2 days ago, and then you find out they're dead, because they OD'd off of heroin. And it's because we start... Yeah, well, they probably are, Stephen, but you know that we're still controlling... Julie, if you're still watching the video, I just got your text. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here in just a second, get the pictures, I promise. The drugs will find a way, but it's going to drastically reduce it, dude. Andy, no. You know what? Because there's going to be a big, beautiful door, okay? And the people that are seeking refuge, they can come in, bro. But they got to come in the right way. Here's another thing. So we slow down, right? We slow down the entry of heroin into our country, okay? Then what we do is we take THC-based medications. We create a THC-based painkiller. A THC-based painkiller that we start prescribing to the streets instead of these opiate-based medications. We keep the opiate-based medications for facility use only. I understand we got to have the heavier drugs for surgeries and putting people under and all that good stuff, but you keep that crap off the streets. You replace it with a THC-based drug that doesn't kill people, that doesn't lead to heroin addiction. Because what happens with these pills, they go get these pills, they get addicted to these pills. Then they run out of the pills. The doctors won't prescribe them anymore. They pill shop and pill shop and pill shop till they can't get any more. Then they start buying them off the streets. And the pills are so goddamn expensive, they're charging $10 a pill out on the street right now. Why would they spend $10 a pill when they can go get, they can go get 0.2 of fucking heroin for $10? Does Trump need a military parade like Hitler? Hey, dude, let Trump be Trump. The first thing that we learned working on the Trump campaign was, let Trump be Trump. If he wants to go parade our military down the streets of Washington, D.C., then God bless him. More power to him, dude. I don't really care. That's going on in Washington, D.C. I did my duty. I elected Donald Trump. I worked to get him elected so that I didn't have to worry about federal issues for 4 years. I can focus on the state of Illinois because I know that we're in good hands. I know that we have a president sitting in the White House right now that if little Kim decides he wants to get, that if little Kim wants to get stupid, we have a president in office that right now that will, when little Kim opens his door to pick up his little, newspaper, he'll be greeted with a Tomahawk missile right in the face. Hail Trump is what I want to see on TV, dude. Andy, you're an idiot, dude. You're an idiot. Where's Trump a Nazi? Please tell me how Trump's a Nazi. You want to do that? Or do you want to go back to Illinois issues? You just want to be here to distract from the real issues? I'll catch up to you later, Andy. Steven, yes, CBD, THC is the psychoactive alkaloid, but THC has the psychological part that needed for those receptors in your brain to curb extreme pain. CBDs alone are not going to replace fentanyl. It's not going to happen. If you got somebody who's home on oxycodone or fentanyl, you're not going to do that alone with a strong enough CBD. You got to have the THC to fill the receptors in the brain to give them that state of bliss. And that's what takes their mind off of their pain. Yes, I am responsible for Donald Trump. I am part of the deplorables. Yes, I am. I am a deplorable. I worked very hard to get Donald Trump elected. Matter of fact, I actually had to physically fight people to get Donald Trump elected. So, while you guys want to say that we're crazy and we're the outlandish ones, hey, I'm not scared to fight back. I will fight back. You want to act tough? You want to get in my face? You want to spit? You want to throw water bottles? I'll fight you. I don't care. And for Ives, we'll see if I'm responsible for Ives or not. If she wins, yeah, I'm going to be responsible for it. Absolutely. I'll be one of many. Just like with Donald Trump. One of many, man. So, yes, I am. I'm responsible for Trump, and I will be responsible for Ives as well, getting elected. Yes, I will. Am I their keepers? No, I'm not their keepers. I'm not their keepers. And let me tell you something here too. Look, I don't agree with every single thing Donald Trump says and does. What if she wants a National Guard parade in Springfield? Amen. I'll go out there. I'll go stand there and I will pay my respect to our troops. Absolutely, 100%. All day long. Look, man, you flex your military muscle, you show it off to the world, chances are you don't have to use it. How do I feel about legalization of psilocybin-containing mushrooms? Bro, I can't. I'm not there. I'm not there. I could not legalize mushrooms. Okay, look, I told you guys that I had a past history and I was young and stupid, and yeah, I couldn't legalize mushrooms, okay? That's the reason you can't legalize mushrooms is because it is actually mind altering. Now, marijuana THC does affect some people. It is mind altering. It can make their reaction time slow down. Others it don't. But I don't care who you are. If you eat mushrooms, you're not capable of functioning in society for 12 to 16 hours. I mean, that's just the bottom line, bro. Now, when we talk about individual, choice and all that, look, dude, if you want to go sit in your house and you want to eat a bag of mushrooms, go right ahead, dude. Go right ahead. But it's when you start selling the mushrooms to other people and you do things like that, that's when you start causing problems that's when we start causing problems for ourselves, and we get government a reason to intrude. Okay? And, okay, just like with bump stocks, alright? Look, I'm a huge Second Amendment guy. I think you guys know where I stand on my Second Amendment. But you know what? Something like a bump stock in that Las Vegas thing, dude, go ahead, get rid of the bump stock. Because you know what? The bump stock just gives them a reason to come after my rifle. Where does Ives stand on Medicaid for all? Well, I can't speak for Jeannie Ives. You're more than welcome to go talk to her. But as far as where I would say that Jeannie stands for Medicaid for all, where she stands on that, I would imagine, if I had to say, I would probably tell you this, that it's not even on her radar right now, because where's the money coming from, Andy? How are we going to pay for it, Andy? We cannot talk about any new spending. No new expansions of programs. And let's talk about House Bill 40 for once. Now, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it like this. Abortion is abuse to children. It's violence towards children. And I can never consciously support violence against children. So, abortion, I'm bringing that down a little bit. I hope that I'm still saying the same thing. Maybe homicide, murder. Okay, I'm trying to calm it down a little bit. All right, so I'll say, abortion is violence towards children. I cannot consciously ever support violence towards children. Okay? Now, we're talking about, what were we talking about? House abortion. That's my stance on abortion. Okay? But, your stance may be different. And somebody else's may be different. But I don't care if you are completely pro-choice as big as they come. I want you to answer me one question. Is it fiscally responsible to expand services of any kind right now? Andy, you can go ahead and answer that one if you want. I know that you're pro-life, but still you could answer that one if you want. Is it fiscally responsible to expand services of any type right now? In our current economic state, is it fiscally responsible? No, it's not. I waited for you to answer, but I can't just keep stalling. No, it's not. It's not fiscally responsible. Regardless of where you stand on the morality of the issue, it's not fiscally responsible. Anyone who signs that law into place is an idiot. Let's talk about sorry. Okay, so I'll ask you again then. Do you think expansion of services of any type in Illinois right now is fiscally responsible? Do 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 do. So where is it going to come from? How's Illinois going to expand coverage for all? Where's the money going to come from? Right, and now I'm asking you a second question. So you think it's fiscally responsible to expand coverage for all? I got you. So now how are we going to pay for it? This is how solutions are created, Andy. We got to talk about it. Cuts elsewhere. What are we going to cut? Everything we cut, somebody's going to cry about it. And then they're going to say, oh, those heartless Republicans are trying to take away, they're so mean to children. Hell, look what happened when we tried to close down the museum for a little while. People lost their minds. So where are we going to make cuts at? Not making cuts. We'll add it to the debt like everything else. Well, that's you sound like Mike Madigan, Andy. Are you wait a minute. Okay, hold up. Are you an operative? Look, I know you're my friend. I know we go way back, bro. I've kept you here. You know, you were my token liberal on the page for a long time, bro. Cut highway funds, divert motor fuel taxes. Okay, but in order to do that, we're still going to have to raise the motor fuel taxes. Yeah, I know. You were my token liberal for a while. I've been trying to add a couple others so that I can get you some friends, but they don't last like you, Andy. I gotta give you props, bro. You are a soldier, dude. You take a lot of abuse and yeah, well, you're my token liberal for my page. I don't know if you're a token liberal or not, but you're the token liberal on my page. You were like in my friends list, you know, you were like my only one on there. So, but I've been trying to find you some friends though, I promise. I know, Mina, my internet is horrible. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I've been trying to bring you in some more friends, Andy. They just don't last long, bro. They don't have the stamina you do, brother. They get butt hurt and they take off, bro. They block me and ban me and report me and, you know, my friends, you know. But Andy, you're an alright dude, man. I don't care how much disagreement we have, and you don't know how many messages, bro, I've had from people talk about, you need to get rid of Andy Keller. You need to get rid of that guy. He's just a troll, blah, 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 blah. I love you, Andy, man. I don't care, bro. It's all good, man. You keep it live. You keep it exciting. You're excellent for getting engagement on my posts, dude. You'll argue with these guys for hours. It's great, man. Nah, bro, it's not net neutrality, bro. My Comcast has sucked way before net neutrality, brother, I promise. It's just Comcast. They're horrible, man. But, alright, man, that's it, you guys. So, House Bill 2812, go back and read that for your guys yourself. Go to ilga.gov, look up House Bill 2812. Really read that. I want you guys to start kind of getting in the mindset to read over these bills yourselves, because our lawmakers don't read them. So I need you guys to kind of start reading them, man, and really look at the laws that our government is passing. And next episode, we're going to talk about House Bill 4113. A shared parenting bill that is making its way through the General Assembly. I believe there's a hearing going on earlier this morning. They had 2 hours. Not sure what they started. They're probably concluded at this point. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to get these pictures of the cookies for my wife so she knows what to pick up. And, you know, as usual, I love you guys. God bless. Remember, March 20th, 2018. Get out there to the polls. Write in Stephen Westerfield for state representative, 99th district. Oh! I almost forgot. I'm going to have a special video coming up for you guys. What's today? The 6th? I'm going to have a special one coming up for you. No, today's the 7th. I'm going to have a special one coming up for you tomorrow. All about early voting and how you can go ahead and go out and cast your vote for Stephen Westerfield starting tomorrow. And I am more than willing to come pick you guys up, take you over to the county building, show you where you need to go, and you guys can cast your ballots. We'll be putting shuttles together to pick you guys all up, get you over to the polls, get you guys voted. Like I said, man, I got to get out of here. Got to get some things done for the wife. Got to get my chores done around the house. Still got to work tonight. Love you guys. March 20th, 2018. Write in Stephen Westerfield, Republican ballot. Poll it. Write it. Fill in the little circle next to it. Write it. Drop it in the box. And I'll see you guys on March 21st. We'll wake up and we see how it is. God bless you all. Deuces.